We're all familiar with the old Henry, the great lowering figure of Hans Holbein. This is the Henry we're not familiar with. This is the Henry, the young man who came at the age of 17 years and 10 months to the throne of England exactly 500 years ago on the 22nd of April, 1509. Here he is, slim, handsome. He's written about by one of the greatest Englishmen of the 16th century, Thomas More. And he's presented in those first weeks of the reign as the early 16th century Obama. He's filled with promise, hope, a new world after a bad old world. He will redeem us. He'll wipe every eye. He will dry every tear. He will make the world anew. In fact, like Obama, he's talked about as though he were Jesus Christ. Well, we know what happened to Henry. Who knows about Obama? Now, we think of Henry, the Henry as he becomes when he's into his late 40s and early 50s, as the supreme tyrant, horrible Henry, the nastiest, bloodiest monarch in English history. Henry thought of himself, not surprisingly, completely differently. He thought of himself literally as Christ on earth. In this book here, what's called a Psalter, that's the text of the Psalms of King David. This one is the most extraordinary of all. Here you have Henry acting as David, petitioning God for forgiveness. You can see it very clearly, Henry, with his white beard, his golden armour, and his great blue cloak. But this is also, according to all 16th century biblical scholarship, David prefiguring the role of Christ in the Garden of Gethsemane, taking the sins of the world upon his shoulders. This is Henry seeing himself actually as Christ, sacrificing himself for the English people. It's an act at once so preposterous and so sublimely arrogant that it's difficult to measure. But if we're to understand Henry, we've got to understand this. This is the portrait of the Henry we all think we know, the vilest tyrant ever to have sat on the throne of England. And it shows what I describe as a Humpty Dumpty of nightmare. The head is so completely characteristic, egg-shaped. The face is almost smooth with the layers of fat, the hook nose, the petty, pursed, arrogant little mouth, and then these piggy eyes looking at you, fixing you. We can laugh at it now. Then it struck terror into people. We have records of people being introduced to the king, simply falling on their knees, dumb and unable to speak. This is the Henry who'd torn apart the fabric of England, of his family, of the Catholic Church. It's the Henry that he became. It's the Henry that enters into our consciousness and remakes England.